Many people say self-realization is something which is unachievable, or that they do not even imagine that they can ever get it in one lifetime. Is that a sense of false modesty, or is that a helpful belief or a helpful thought for anyone?
Well, I think it's a contradiction in terms. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, realization of the self means to resolve the the reality of all of our experiences. I mean, to understand the infinity of existence, and that is not something that can possibly be developed, or that can possibly be cultivated, or something that can be striven for, because the Upanishads say Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati, that he who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. I mean, the point is, and Brahman is becoming all, as it says also in the Upanishads. He who becomes Brahman becomes all, or he who knows Brahman is the all. It's everything, it's the totality. And that's not something that can be learned, because if you learn something, there's a subject who is doing the learning, there is a certain amount of knowledge that is to be learned. There is a process of learning it. And Tripudi Bheda, there's always that the realization of reality means that threefold agency of the knower, knowledge, and the process of knowing is seen to be one. It seems to be the manifold aspect disappears. In other words, it's the reaching of total unity. There is no duality whatsoever. Neha na nasti kinchana, there is no multiplicity here. So that ultimate, that self-realization must be something which is always present, which is always known, which is always experienced. And the process of achieving that must be that the obstacles are removed, and that which we know already is realized to be known, and that this multiplicity that we have created around us, that is seen to be unity. There is nothing that the multiplicity is not seen as multiplicity. It is seen as pervaded by oneness, as pervaded by unity. And if that's the ultimate goal, that there are no two, non-duality, advaita, there are no two. If that is the reality, then there's no question of realizing it as not having known it before, and then undergoing some process, and then realizing it. That can't possibly be compatible with the basic ideas in the basic states that the knowers of Brahman describe. It must be something that we already know. We are fully there already. We are Brahman. We're fully aware of that in our deepest nature. We are fully aware of the unity of existence, that there are no two things here, that everything is totally pervaded by God, that there is nothing else here but God. That is the basic truth. that there's nothing here but God. Now, and this is the, the realization as it's described to us. But if that is the case, it can't be something that I achieve. It's something which is constantly there, which is constantly real, which is constantly available. And that it is this multiplicity which must be seen not as an illusion, because also there is no illusion. If the reality, if God, if Brahman is the only reality, then there's no room for illusion. It must be that what we perceive is really God all the time. And this is the spiritual practice that's the essential spiritual practice. To see everything as pervaded by God. That there is nothing but God anywhere. There's nothing but infinity anywhere. In all things we must see that unity. We must see God. And that is the basic practice. It's not the realization of anything. It's already realized, it's already fully understood, it's already our true nature. That's why it can't be difficult either. We tend to get distracted. We're constantly being distracted. And so we don't realize it. But the actual realization of it is it's something that is constantly. There's no question of when am I going to realize God? When am I going to realize the infinite? We really are in the infinite all the time. It's when I stopped trying to convince myself that all this is real. That's when that's the practice, to stop convincing myself that this is something that I don't already know, that I don't already possess, that I don't already understand.
What about people who have an allergy to the word God? Is it possible for them to tap into this self-realization as well?
Yes, of course, because God, the word God is simply a word. We don't, when we say God, most people will not have the faintest idea what they mean by that word. It's a being who has certain characteristics and so forth. Yes, but everything is very vague. You can talk about holy people, saints who have realized God, and you can talk about their lives and their spiritual striving, their spiritual struggles. All these are ideals for us. And we can say that concentrating on their lives and on their teachings enables us to open the path to God. That you can do, but the word God itself is something which is almost by definition, it's something that cannot be described. It's the infinite and the eternal trying to come within the range of human perception and human thought. To become finite or understandable by finite beings without losing its infinity. That is the concept of God. But that by itself is something that we cannot really understand. We can only accept it to a certain extent on faith. So the word God is not at all necessary. The point is, the real nature, our own real nature is divine. Jesus said, I and my Father are one. In his real nature, Jesus is divine. I am divine. And that divine means beyond the range of duality. There's something in me and there's something in everyone. The very core of everyone, the very core of everything is that meditation means concentration on that infinite reality, which is our true nature. It is already in existence. It's nothing to be achieved. It's something that is already there, and there's no reason why it shouldn't come within our experience at any time. It's not something that we have to necessarily work for untold ages, and that we need the grace of someone to achieve. It is our very own nature. Of course, if we have the grace of holy people, they can remove obstacles which make it easier for us to think these thoughts and to absorb ourselves in these ideas. But the reality of it is it's already here. It's not something that we can escape. It's something which we already are. And at any moment we can realize that to be the case. It's not something that it takes lifetimes to achieve.